There are two types of spiritual seekers: householder who marries and the renouncer who does not marry. A householder spiritual seeker can indulge in sex for procreation and love, not otherwise. Sex is totally barred for a renouncer, but he has voluntarily chosen the path. It is said that control of sex preserves and creates spiritual energy, which is absolutely necessary in the spiritual path. Indulgence in sex will result into sensual bondage and loss of spiritual energy. Those who are not spiritual seekers of either type have to follow scientific and medical rules regarding healthy sex. There is no license to sex without any restriction, even in secular life. Regarding the benefit of celibacy, no one should just believe in what is said, but prove it by self-experience and then follow the path. But it should be remembered that sex cannot be controlled by force. Suppression of sex strengthens it. Sex has to be controlled by understanding and constant practice. Only a true spiritual seeker will be able to practice celibacy. A person whose goal is material pleasures of life will never be attracted to celibacy. Celibacy is not compulsory. You have to choose by free will. Modern secular education gives no importance to celibacy, as it imparts only material education and some moral education. But spiritual education is neglected. The law of nature is that celibacy may be broken only when the husband and wife feel a desire for progeny. Those who, remembering this law, will not become slaves to lust, nor lose much of their stock of vital energy. But how rare are those men and women who yield to the sexual craving merely for the sake of offspring? The vast majority turn to sexual enjoyment merely to satisfy their carnal passion, with the result that children are born to them quite against their will. In the madness of sexual passion, they give no thought to the consequences of their acts. In this respect, men are even more to blame than women. The man is blinded so much by his lust that he never cares to remember that his wife is weak and unable to bear or rear up a child. People have transgressed all bounds. They indulge in sexual pleasures and devise measures in order to evade the responsibilities of parenthood. Many books have been written on this subject, and a regular trade is being carried on in contraceptives. We are as yet free from this sin, but we do not shrink from imposing heavy burden of maternity on our women. And we are not concerned even to find that our children are weak, impotent, and imbecile. We are, in this respect, far worse than even the lower animals, for in their case the male and the female are brought together solely with the object of breeding from them. Man and woman should regard it sacred duty to keep apart from the moment of conception up to the time when the child is weaned. But we go on with our fatal merrymaking, blissfully forgetful of that sacred obligation. This almost incurable disease enfeebles our mind and leads us to an early grave, after making us drag a miserable existence for a short while. Married people should understand the true function of marriage and should not violate celibacy except with a view to progeny. But this is so difficult under our present conditions of life. Our diet, our ways of life, our common talk, and our environments are all equally calculated to rouse sexual passions. And sensuality is like a poison eating into our vitals. Some people may doubt the possibility of our being able to free ourselves from this bondage. This video is for those who have courage to take active steps for self-improvement. Those who are quite content with their present abject condition will find this tedious even to watch. But I hope it will be some service to those who have realized and are disgusted with their own miserable plight. Young men should take a vow to remain unmarried till the age of 25 or 30. We cannot consider here all the advantages other than physical which they will reap, and which are as it were added unto the rest. You should not tie a stone round your necks by marrying young. They should look to the welfare of the rising generation, and not merely seek to pamper their own vanity. There is a difference of opinion among medical men as to whether young men and women need ever let their vital energy escape. Some answering the question in the affirmative, others in negative. But while doctors thus disagree, we must not give way to overindulge from an idea that we are supported by medical authority. I can affirm, without the slightest hesitation, from my own experience as well as that of others, that sexual enjoyment is not only not necessary for, but is positively injurious to health. All the strength of body and mind that has taken long to acquire is lost all at once by a single dissipation of the vital energy. It takes a long time to regain this lost vitality, and even then there is no saying that it can be thoroughly recovered. A broken mirror may be mended and made to do its work, but it can never be anything but a broken mirror. As has already been pointed out, the preservation of our vitality is impossible without those pure thoughts. So vital indeed is the relation between health and morals that we can never be perfectly healthy unless we lead a clean life. The earnest man who, forgetting the errors of the past, begins to live a life of purity, will be able to reap the fruit of it straight away. Those who practice true celibacy, even for a short period, will see how their body and mind improve steadily in strength and power. And they will not at any cost be willing to part with this treasure. I myself have been guilty of lapses even after having fully understood the value of celibacy, and have of course paid dearly for it. I am filled remorse when I think of the terrible contrast between my condition before and after these lapses. But from the errors of the past I have now learned to preserve this treasure.